We'll open your SolidWorks file to start with. Our coordinate system's over here. We're going to put it in the top middle. Okay, we're going to machine these slots. I'll do the pocket from the back side along with this counter bore. And we'll do the engraving on the top, cut around the outside edge. I've added a face curve to my curves tab. You can do that by going to View, Customize. You can add any buttons that are found in the menus, and you can also add shortcut keys. For example, I want to measure the slot, so I hit my shortcut key and measure the radius. I can use a 1/8 tool to go straight through. Now I could use a pocket with a smaller tool, and I'm going to show you contouring and pocketing. So we'll go with a face curve. I'm going to pick the bottom face. Gave me all the curves I need for the slots. Gave me the curve for the outside profile. We'll use hole recognition to machine these holes. So I'll start off with, this is my active curve, and then we'll add the other curves in there as well. Because that was my active curve, it'll know to include that. If you're using cutter comp, we're using a 1/8 tool. Left for climb mill, right for convention. I'm going to go to advance. Now the curve is at the bottom of the part, so I could leave the depth at 0, or you can hit the auto button. And we want to go a little deeper. Then for plunging, rather than plunge straight down like a drill, you could pre-drill and you could have the tool plunge in a pre-drilled location. I'm just going to use a ramp, and I'll use a straight ramp at 1/4 of an inch length distance. And I'm going to add my machining curves. Verify. As you can see, you're getting your ramp to depth. Now if I don't want to go full depth, I can just add a step. Then you get multiple passes until you get to the depth. Next I'll machine outside profile. We'll use a 1/2 inch tool. I'm not worried about the feeds and speed. You can calculate those. Let's go to advance. Change that to a carbide tool and hit calculate. And of course we can restrict it to your maximum RPM and scale the feed rates back accordingly. That's what we have so far. You can slow the simulation down with the numbers on your keypad. 0 will pause it, and you hit the enter and it will step through the process. Now I'll go with hole recognition. Now these straight lines are just grouping all of the curves, all the holes that are of the same diameter and the same depth, the same height, and so on and so forth. So let's measure these holes over here. And it's just over 1/8 of an inch. So let's say I want to drill and ream. So I'm just going to double click on that curve, go to holes, and I'm going to select a 1/8 diameter hole. It will give you the spot drill, the drill, and the reamer. Hit the update work steps, verify. When I hit verify all, it calculates and gives me an estimated machine time and rapid cut. So there's our reamed holes. Then I'll show you another technique. Instead of double clicking on it, I can go to holes, call that center hole. Go right to advance. It's a 128, so it's the same as the previous tool. So I'm going to go into my library, and you can pick your different tools. I'm going to pick a drill, and we're going to go with a 1/8. The depth is 125, but let's say I put an angle on my drill, 118, and I want the body of the drill at 125. So I hit the auto button, and it can see here it calculates the additional depth for you. Make this my active curve. Quarter of an inch diameter, so we'll go in our library, 1/4 inch, 118, so far so good. Now I'll engrave, and I'm going to basically hide everything. I don't want it to chain the outside geometry, so what I'm going to do is just make the geometry visible of what I want to train. Actually, I'm sorry, we're going to get the surfaces to help us out here. So I'm going to go with blank, verify mode, so it gives me the opportunity of changing my selection. I'm going to say all. I'm going to pick only surfaces, and I'm going to exclude those surfaces right in through there. Enter. I'm going to change the color. Those are white, so the similar background. I'm going to change color, go to default, CAD-CAM's custom settings. Now I can see our surfaces. So I'm going to go blank. I'm going to pick the center surfaces because I'm going to get the outline on the outside and it'll give me the outline on the inside, so I don't need to have those surfaces in the middle. There we go. So this is what we're going to work with. And let's see, we'll go with, let's hide the surfaces so I can see inside there. Edit, blank, surfaces, all. We're going to make pockets out of this with an engraving tool. So automation, we'll pick the P. Actually, let's go pocket, letters. Tool 10. The diameter is what the engraving tool would basically represent. So let's go with 0.5. And the depth, let's go with 0.02. Let's turn this curve off. I don't want to use that curve per se. And we'll go with add machining curves, and I can add all of them. Verify. Okay, it excluded the zeros and the P. Oh, these P's also. So what that tells me is there's so many little line segments in here, it gave us a little bit of difficulty. So I'm going to show you how to deal with that. So I'm going to click on that curve, And we're going to go to the curve menu, change it to a CC curve, which is tangent. Pick that. Now verify. And now it included the P for us. So we would have to do that for the others. Just make that the active curve. Now I could have made a button for this if this is a common occurrence. So then my button, I could warp it right to my cursor. Save a lot of time. And just 2 more to go. I believe you'll find that with your export settings in SolidWorks. I think that would have controlled it a little better, so I wouldn't have to worry so much. There's our engraving. Let's take a look at what we got. Okay, let's show everything here. Now we're ready for the backside. And of course we want to see the backside machining as we did with the top machining. So I'm going to make a new coordinate system so we can add the other operations right in this document. I don't have to open up another document and make the backside. So I'm just going to go to View, New Coordinate System, and we'll call this bottom. And we'll place the bottom coordinate system directly over the top. We're going to move it down by 1/8 of an inch. So we go Translate, Z negative 0.125. Pick our coordinate system. And then we're going to rotate it so we can have the bottom part of the face 180 degrees. Isometric view. Okay, now we're positioned. So the only thing left are these 2 pockets. I'll make the larger pocket active. Depth 0, let it figure it out for me. Okay, now it's coming from the bottom, so I forgot one step, so I go back in and I change my coordinate system to the bottom. Let's include this one over through here. Add machining curves. We wanted to add a flat end mill 125. There we go. Now before I take the next step, we're going to show you part compare. So I'm going to go with the stock setup, create uncut solids. It's going to show me what areas have been cut properly and what needs to be cut. Green is cut. These holes just need to be a little larger, but it shows me everything about this model has been completed except for this section through here. So I'm going to just steal a curve from the face. Make that my active curve. And this would be complete.